With us now is Scott Walker. He's the former Republican governor of the state of Wisconsin. No shortage of topics to talk about. I'm probably going to go backwards, Governor Walker, if I can. Yeah, I've been chuckling, but isn't it crazy if you stop and think? It's the president of the United States and the richest human beings on the planet going back and forth like a couple of teenagers on social media. But what do you make of this? And is there any significance to it, all the Elon Musk versus Donald Trump stuff today, given the negotiations on the big, beautiful bill and everything else?
Well, first of all, I should just say, and I think it's obvious to everybody watching, though, that this president goes through more in one day than I think the prior president went through in a month in terms of action. So it's just wild to see. There's no letting back in terms of what he's involved with. But I think in terms of the bill they want to get passed, there's three things they need to do. They need to get the tax cuts to be permanent. There's a massive tax increase next year. That wouldn't be good for the economy for anyone, be it here in Wisconsin or around the country. Secondly, they need to get spending under control. That's part of what's been driving up inflation and making some restraints there. We saw that through DOGE with the government efficiency recommendations. But third, it goes back to what we were talking about even with Xi Jinping. They need to get some deals when it comes to trade. If those three things happen, so they're all intertwined here, I think in the end, actually, Musk speaking on this could be helpful in the sense it would put more pressure on the U.S. Senate to keep spending under control. As long as the tax cuts are there and the border security, I think the president gets what he wants. And even though they're battling over the airwaves on social media posts, in the end, I actually think it could help get a positive bill through the U.S. Senate that could pass in the House.
That's interesting. I mean, here's what part of what Trump said earlier. We had a clip of saying he's disappointed. A little bit more from the Oval Office, who's talking about Elon Musk when he said this. Here's Trump.
Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we will anymore. I was surprised because you were here. Everybody in this room practically was here as we had a wonderful send-off. He said wonderful things about me. You couldn't have nicer. Said the best things. He's worn the hat. Trump was right about everything. And I am right about the great, big, beautiful bill.
So that's what you're thinking, Governor. It works out well for Trump. By the way, what started this sort of with Musk? One of the he's saying a lot of stuff, but one of the things I think Republicans will look at. I wonder if you agree with it or not. Is when he said that Trump wouldn't have won without him. The post on X earlier: without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House. Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. So what would you say about that? And then we'll go back to the big beautiful bill.
Yeah, first off, yeah, it's debatable. Obviously, played a role, but I think we all know Donald Trump's personality is bigger than life, bigger than anything we've seen in our lifetime. The bottom line, though, is that President Trump, wants to make the tax cuts permanent to avoid a massive tax increase that would devastate the economy next year. And he wants border security. If he gets that, I think he'll claim rightfully so victory with this piece of legislation. And if along the way, as I read it, reading those posts in social media, it's really for Elon Musk, it's about spending levels. He's been at the thick of this. He's been working on it. I've heard him talk about it repeatedly. You know, things like Medicaid. They talk about the left's talking about cuts in Medicaid. There's not cuts for little ladies or small children on Medicaid. It's cuts in things like working age adults actually having to go out and work at least 80 hours a month or be involved in training or things like that we pushed here in Wisconsin. So I think he understands there's a pushback when it comes to spending. He needs to keep pushing that.
Isn't he right? Isn't the problem here for Republicans to some degree that Musk is right about a lot of this stuff on the spending? I mean, like they're not, but you know, it's politically. He's not a politician, so he doesn't have to answer to voters like you used to do and like everybody in Congress used to do. But you know, he's right? If you want to get the spending under control, you do have to cut some of these things.
There's no doubt about it. And that's where, to me, not only in this bill, the reconciliation bill, which has different rules and different requirements, but they've also got to follow up and codify a number of those recommendations by DOGE, which, of course, Elon Musk and his team were intricately involved in. You know, at Young America's Foundation, we do polling. We just did a poll that showed that young people are incredibly concerned about the national debt and their share of it going forward. They're right to be concerned when you see just interest on the debt exceeding almost every other area of the budget other than Medicare and Social Security, and it's even creeped up over the total cost of defense. There's real concern there. And again, if Musk pushing back helps get the House and the Senate to get to a better spending level, so much the better.
We'll see how it goes. It's an interesting spot he's put Republicans in, and it's obviously, you know, everybody's going to get worked up in the language that they're using. Hey,
thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.